Parents of Reddit. What is the best weird flex but okay moment you've seen from your child? My son told me he doesn't need school because he already knows the name of 10 dinosaurs. Kid's got a valid point. He's gonna grow up to be Ross in Friends. An incredibly wealthy TV star. I know over 30 just by playing Ark Survival Evolved and Jurassic Park Builder. This was a couple of years ago. He plays lots of dino games and reads nothing but dino books. I'd say he knows at least 20 now. He says he wants to be a paleontologist when he grows up but is still pretty sure college will be a breeze because he already knows all the dino names. My 7-year-old said, I know everything until you ask me a question. Well, ... Okay. A master of quantum knowledge I see. Schrodinger's knowledge. I just played a game in group therapy where you name a band starting with the last letter of the previous band and have 10 seconds till you're out. Example: someone says Nirvana. You say Aerosmith. Next person says Hoobastank. I lost and thought of like 5 band names once I wasn't put on the spot. My son started 2nd grade this week. A couple of weeks ago the school sent out postcards with the date and time of the open house and his teacher's name. I asked him if he was excited to be in Mrs. So-and-so's class. And he said yes. But he's also worried. I asked what he was worried about and he said, what if she falls in love with me and wants to marry me? I laughed and reassured him that he need not worry, since she's already married. Damn. That kid's good. Love your you. Kids' brains are so amusing like that. I remember being 8 to 9 and super stressed out about one day needing to get married. Like lying awake at night worrying. The reason? Well, when you get married you kiss the bride afterwards in front of everyone and I didn't know how. Never did occur to me that if I was getting married that problem would have sorted itself out a long time prior. Our kids. When my son was about 5 we went to visit relatives in the Washington, D.C. area. We were on the metro when my son eyed a very pretty professional young woman. I've got a lot of blocks. He told her, if you come to my room I'll show you. Then he made motorcycle noises for about 10 seconds. You're gonna have your hands full when he starts dating. He's already got an invisible motorcycle. Gonna be tough to ground him, ya know. Nothing will change. It will be the exact same pickup as that. I saw the Austin Powers movies when I was 5. They very quickly became a favorite. And I emulated Austin for years. I would hit on basically every waitress, babysitter, au pair, nanny, etc. One babysitter said, and I quote, he's like a 40-year-old man in a 7-year-old body. Needless to say, my family is full of stories. When I was an after-school tutor for primary school kids, I excused a boy to the bathroom. He came back telling me he made the biggest poo in the world. He intentionally didn't flush so that I could come look at it. I told him that was great. But it was art time. He said his big poo was art. A regular Pablo Picasso. A Jackson Pollock. My kid wanted company in the bathroom the other day. Then he said, I love pooping, with a sigh of contentment. A friend of mine had 2 young boys. The older one, maybe 5, was sitting with him and pointed at a white hair and said, what's this, Papar? My friend said, oh, it just means I'm getting old, and his son looked at him dead serious. Looked at his brother and said, well, I guess it's just us and mom soon. Ha. Kids are fucking ruthless. Was driving with my 3.5-year-old son a few months back and we saw a car pulled over to the side of the road. He asked why it was there and I asked him why he thought it was. He said. I told him it was a good answer and he responded. I was climbing trees with my 6-year-old niece when she asked me, how can you climb trees if you're so old? To which I replied, I'm 27. Then she said in a sympathetic voice, wow, your life is half over. Might wanna be watching out for that 54th eyes. When I was 6 my absent father came back into my life briefly and I paraded him around all of my friends bragging saying, this is my dad. I bet you thought I didn't have a dad. But I did. He was gone again within a month. LMAO. F. My brother is autistic and went to a playgroup for kids with issues when he was around 6. My dad remembers taking him there once and another little boy coming up and saying, "Wow, your dad lives with you." He was just amazed that my brother had a dad in his life. My dad said it really broke his heart. Kids really want a dad, don't they? My son, 4 at the time, was I guess trying to impress the 6-year-old neighbor girl. He leaned casually on his arm and said, "I have lots of accidents. Pee and poop accidents. I hope for his sake his pickup lines improve. So I heard you're into bad boys. Because I'm really bad at everything." My brother tried to impress the girls next door by telling them he had head lice. When my son was 5, a waitress at Applebee's asked him how old he was. To which he exclaimed, "I'm 5 and I pooped today." I think everyone within 4 tables of us was very impressed. My dad took my daughter out to eat once when she was 2 and the server asked if she was ready for ice cream and she said, "No. I have a poop coming." He just said, "Well, more room for ice cream then," which I think was pretty dope for someone being paid basically nothing to work at Applebee's. He took the poop ball and rolled with it. Like a minimum wage dung beetle. My 4-year-old son kept peeing on the toilet seat because he wouldn't hold his penis. I told him he had to start holding it and his response was, "I can't hold it because it's too big." What a Chad. My 6-year-old son recently put his foot down letting me know it was not okay for me to tell him what he could wear or not because he is allowed to have his own fashion. Okay. Fine. Shorts. Sandals and one black sock it is. I contemplated having a button made that said, "I dress myself today," for my children to proudly wear. Them not realizing it was mostly so other adults would stop judging me for my kids' fashion choices. If it makes you feel any better, I automatically assume any oddly dressed child that I see has dressed themselves that day. Whenever I see it, I always throw some positive "good for you" vibes to both the parents and the kid. Katie. You have to eat 3 more green beans before you're excused. No. No more. 3 more. I'm gonna eat 4 more. Oh no, you got me good. My son is good with this. Me, okay mate. 5 minutes till you have to hop out of the bath. Son, no. 3 minutes. Righto. Not my kid, but a friend of mine was trying to teach his daughter to pick up her toys when she was younger. When she didn't do it one time, he told her he was going to throw away everything that was still on the floor. She picked them up and put them in the trash can for him. My kid did that. It's a damn power move. I mean, what do you even do in this situation? My son did the something similar. When he was being punished, my wife took every toy out of his room with him screaming and protesting the entire while. When she was done, he had the fucking temerity to say, "You forgot my books." Though my wife was going to stroke out. Wife has left the server. My 4-year-old does this to me. Told her I was going to throw her toys out if she didn't pick them up and she responded with, "That's fine mummy. I understand," and then put them in the rubbish herself. Sometimes kids know exactly how to make you feel like a piece of shiz. Little bastards do it with surgical precision. Often completely unknowingly. My nephew is 4 and thinks he's cooler than everyone else because he can tuck in his shirt by himself. For a 4-year-old, that's impressive. I know some middle schoolers who can't do that. When my son was potty training, I started letting him do the cleanup. Then I'd have to finish. After a bit of this, he figured he was pretty well good to go on his own. And he was very big boy about it. So for the next couple of weeks, he'd do his thing, which always included stripping naked then come running out to wherever I was. Bend over with his cheeks spread. And shout, "Hey, Mom, I wiped my butt all by myself." Look it. Mine can't do this, so she comes out and bends over with her shiz-covered ass in the air ready for me to wipe. Yeah, he did that. Does she walk out backwards? 2. I was always terrified he'd trip and grind that shiz right into the carpet. My 4-year-old Henry was carrying a tub of Legos down the stairs. It was slightly heavy, but he insisted on carrying it himself. He was struggling, so I was walking slowly with him in case he fell. He says, through little 4-year-old grunts, "This box is heavy. I have to use Henry powers." Not a parent, but I teach swimming lessons. This one 5-year-old first day of lessons was like, "I'm not very good at kicking." So I said, "That's okay. Nobody is perfect at everything." Dead serious, he just goes, "No, I'm perfect at everything. Except kicking." No, he's not very good at it. He's not extremely good at it. He's perfect at it. I was throwing my nieces in the pool and the 4-year-old grabbed a pool noodle and looked right at me to say, "Today, you're gonna get hurt." That's when you muster up all your uncle strength and throw her in the pool extra hard. Uncle strength very similar to dad strength, but someone gets hurt every time. You should be worried for her future. Had an Amber Alert hit my phone one night while my then 6-year-old was playing a game on it. She asks what that was, and I explained it's a message that gets sent out if a kid gets kidnapped. She looks at it again and sees it's for a town over 2 hours from where we live. She then asks me why they sent her if it's so far away. I said because they want everyone to look and find the kid. Wouldn't you want everyone to look if you got kidnapped? They want to find the kid so they don't get killed. She leans over close to my ear and whispers, "I'm very difficult to kill." I had to mute the Amber Alerts on my phone. My son saw one when he was 5 years old, and asked me about it. So I explained it, every hour or two, for almost a week afterward. He'd ask me, "Did they find the kid yet? Mom, were you even looking at license plates when you were driving? You have to pay attention in case you see her." When her body was found, my poor kid was devastated. He still writes down the license number whenever he sees an Amber Alert on one of those LED road signs, and sets it on the dash where I can see it. Sounds like he would make a great detective. Didn't see that coming, lol. Good story.